Move the microphone. There we are. And we are live. Incredible. We don't have any cats yet. Not a cat to be seen. It's a tragedy. And I had to go and deal with my grand kitties. I had to go feed and medicate my grand kitties. So I'm in a rush. We also had to grab some groceries, so I'm actually just doing my base coat right now. So I'm a little behind. So I apologize for that, but the bigger problem is not having cats on the cat cam. I mean, unforgivable. Hey, yes, Marie, Rachel's cats. Rachel and her husband have two beautiful long-haired kitties. I think, now don't quote me, I think that they're both part Norwegian forest cat. Hey, Couch Potato, welcome. I believe we have a Jammy Dodgers incoming. However, she seems to have decided that she might settle into the alternate spot, in which case I will have to change the camera angle and elevate it a bit. Hello, Sylvia. Welcome. So one of the two cats needs medication. And so, like, normally if we have things that we need to do on stream night, like we had to go to the grocery store and stuff, normally we would just do that after streaming. But because the medication needs to be sort of done in a sort of a time range, we didn't want it to be too crazy late by the time we would get over there and give him his medication. And so we decided it would be better to do it a little earlier. But then we also had to get groceries, and then I got home and I had to set up for this. And so it's like, but base coat is on now, so we're good for that. And let me get something to set up the cat cam in the alternate location. Okie dokie. Yeah, there we go. All right. Let's see here. Let's see all my terrible, terrible mess. But we don't care about that too much. Mostly, we just care about being able to see Jammy Dodgers. Let's switch us over to the Cats Up display. There she is, my precious, precious angel. My sweetest baby girl. I also did not put my phone in the streaming position, and I haven't brought up YouTube on that, so I can't see your bloody comments. So that's good. I mean, I can, but it's difficult. Kat, welcome. You need to get your child out of the bath. I'm going to assume you mean the human child and not the feline child. Oh my god, Marie, same. Yeah, Jammy Dodgers has had quite a day, let me tell you. Her sister, her little bratty stepsister, Cinnamon, has been just the most. The last few days, she is, oh boy. She's got too much energy. Spring is sprung. The cat is Riz. She wants to go outside. And of course, we're not letting her. Because bird flu. So, yeah. So I need to pick... I think we're going to do this all in cremes and maybe like cremes and jellies is what I'm thinking. And I have an idea. I have like a notion for a technique that I wanna try and do like an experimental thing. So with that in mind, I'm gonna use, so I've got these ILNP jellies that I think I'm gonna, here, let me get, oh boy, get the lighting set up properly there. So I'm going to get the nails up display. So the ILNP jellies, the Dimension Nails milk jelly. And then I don't have jellies for all the colors that I want, that I need rather. So I'm going to need to sort of mix some stuff. But I think maybe citrine? Citrine seems like a pretty good match for that super pale green color. And then I need a purple. Let's see, maybe the Starly? That's not a bad match. Okay, so, actually there isn't really a, I should probably use a proper red for that. Yeah, Ruby Roo will do nicely for that. That means only 2 of them are actually going to be jellies though. Will that mess it up? Oh, I don't have this. I'm thinking, y'all, you extracted a tea bag, which is different from extracting a child in several critical ways. He was in the bath for nearly an hour. My God, you made Kevin juice. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? Since pretty much everything else is going to be a creme, except for obviously the base, I think I will use cremes for all of them. Which I think means I want to use damn 3rd scoops of charm for our teal color, turquoise color. Oh my gourd for the orange. And then I do still need this more sort of plummy purple. That seems like a decent match for that warmer purple. They're kind of, it's weird to have 2 purples, but should I do more of a magenta just to make it more differenter? I don't know. What do we think? Let me see what else I got. What about using that? That might not be a bad idea. Or, what do we think? This one feels a little muted. Here. Let's just actually get all these colors together. Do we think High Tea Hibiscus from Holo Taco, or do we think Blooming Orchid from BCB? For this color. Yeah, I'm planning on blending the creme into the base jelly. I have a plan. Because I do want to try and get, or at least sort of evoke this watercolor quality that Caleb gets with the glazes in this piece. So Caleb, the artist here, I think I linked it on Instagram. His name is Caleb. I'm not sure exactly how his last name is pronounced. Zohari. I don't freaking know. Hang on. Let me give you, I have his website. Let me turn this on. Hang on. Move this. Sorry, this is from before. That's not what I want for my for my, how do I change what this is going to be? Window. Safari home. There it is. That's the one we want. Whoops. Okay. Hit OK. All right. This is his website. And he is on Instagram, of course. But you can see his URL there at the top. He does beautiful work. I have several of his mugs. I have one that is in this pattern. Hang on, let me just drag this up a little bit. Yeah, so I have one that's in that sort of pattern, which is absolutely gorgeous. It's a little different than this one. It's got like stripes through it as well, which is really, really cool. And then I have one that has some like gold in it, that I don't see anything quite like it here, but yeah, I think I have 4 pieces from him altogether. And they're all just really beautiful. So I've been collecting from Caleb for a little bit. But he's sort of known for these butterfly mugs. And yeah, so I want to try and work a little bit of creme into some jelly goodness here. So for the jelly, we're going to use the vanilla almond milk. And I think I saw someone say that they felt like the Holotaco High Tea Hibiscus was going to be a better match for the mug. And I think it probably just also is a little more vibrant and kind of goes better with the colors in general. So I think that is the choice. I'm just going to go and look at chat for a second here. Marie is on board with jellies and cremes. Yes. Holotaco is a closer match to the mug. Yes. Sassy Dog Mom will check it out after. I don't know. Y'all having private conversations in chat here. Blooming Orchid is higher contrast to the other purple, but doesn't match the mug. Yeah, I think I agree with that. The style is super cool with the glaze. Yeah, you should actually, Kat, you're a pottery nerd. You should, in particular, you should check out Caleb's work, because he actually, on his Instagram page, he actually does some really cool, process videos where he'll, show, how he does a lot of his glazing work, and it's actually quite beautiful. The other thing that, and I swear this is not an ad for Caleb, you all know I just love my pottery, I love my collection, and there's so many things to appreciate about it, but Caleb has, and I want to just preface this by saying that I haven't met Caleb, and I'm only talking about his pots, but the smoothest butts. Just the smoothest butts. And there's nothing placed on them. Like this part here is glazed, but it's cut into it. It's carved into. But this part, there's nothing on it to make it smooth. He just polishes the butts so smoothly. So Smooth Butt Caleb. That's what I call him. Anyway, as you can see, this is a giant mug. This is one of my giant tea mugs. Yeah, I know that you have some understanding of the pottery process, so I agree. Couch Potato does deserve to see your newest manicure, Marie. It's very important. I support this. I think it's wonderful. Okay, so I think, I didn't grab black creme. Definitely gonna need that. Oh, that's not the right one at all. That's the one. Trying to no eyes grab stuff from my drawer, my creme drawer. There's exactly 2 that I can usually grab without having to try twice. The black and the white are in the closest corner. So yeah, he does the really cute little carved designs on the bottom. I really like. Oh, Jammy's cleaning herself. Didn't realize. Hang on. Get some Jammy bath action. I really need to tidy up that area so it's not quite so chaotic behind her, but whatever. All right, so I think what I'm going to do is my thinking on this is I start with the vanilla almond milk, start with like one layer of it, and then put my black lines on with the black creme, and then start to work in small sections, do like a little puddle in one area of the jelly, and then work the appropriate color into that area. That is my thinking. How is the tattoo healing? Good. The tattoo is healing very well. It's pretty well healed in terms of like most of the scabbing is done. Everything feels pretty smooth except for a couple of little spots. So yeah, obviously not fully settled, but yeah, it's healing up very, very nicely. Ubiquity extender. I don't know what you're talking about, Kat. Kat, you're gonna have to speak English. All right. We're moving to the nails. Actually, you know what? Since I'm just going to be putting down a coat of the vanilla almond milk first, you can stay on Jammy Dodgers for a little while. I know it's really more of a cat live stream than it is a nail live stream, but we get a little bit of both here. As soon as Jammy arrives, she is the star of the show. It's on my cube of power shit. Oh, is it like the Wi-Fi thingy? Is that the name of the Wi-Fi thingy? Okay, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I would never know the name of that. There's no reason for me to know the name of that. I broke this nail. I don't know if some of you saw that. Some of you saw that I broke that index nail again. Doing super well with the brakes on this hand lately. I literally I got in Arcana Lacquer's next collection, and then I got a bunch of the BCB collab box stuff, and also their Indieversary collection. So all that stuff came in the mail, one day apart, and then I immediately broke my index fingernail. So I was like, okay, well, perfect. Excellent timing. Love that for me. Oh, the other thing I was thinking about doing as well was, on the other hand, if I have time, I might just do a white to turquoise lazy gradient with jellies. So we'll see if I have time for that. But you saw the broken tip? Yeah. It was a tragedy, I'll tell you. A tragedy. So I think with this, I'm kind of just going to try to channel Caleb's sort of free and easy style. He seems to just kind of make the loops, make these like little swooshy shapes, somewhat haphazardly, and then fill in around with little dots. So we'll try and channel that with the black creme here. And I think I'm going to use a liner brush for this part rather than my, at least for the swooshy parts, rather than my detail brush. Which one is this? 9mm? I might want the 12. Hang on. Where my 12mm? That's a 25. That's too dang long. My nails are not that long. What we got here? Oh, this one's 11. 11's pretty good. Let's do 11. Okay. You also broke a nail today? Your nubs are even shorter than usual. I filed these ones down on my other hand. It was starting to actually get almost the same length as my swatching hand, and I sort of briefly considered just like shaping them to baby almonds, and letting them go, and then I was like, Peggy, that's your right hand. Every time you do that, you end up with a catastrophic break. And like in the summertime, if I don't have anything major going on, sometimes I can get away with growing that hand out a little longer. But it's still a little early in the year and things are still pretty dry, so it's a bit difficult. Does my break hurt? No. It's you can see, I think, hang on. Nails up display here. You, I think, can maybe see I've got a fake nail on, but the broken line is like there. It was just the tip. Just the tip. That's a BCB polish, and also, you know, a little dirty. The newest Holo Taco polishes were giving you butterfly vibes, and then Crappy Nails did butterfly nail art with them. Yeah. Did you see Burrito Nails? Burrito Nails did a couple of really beautiful ones with that collection. You're enjoying your baby almonds, but your sidewalls keep receding. You got to be careful. There's definitely a hard limit on how short you can go, because like, I mean, if at this, there's no way I would even bother trying to do almonds at this length. They were like almost as long as these nails, so they were like maybe 1mm shorter than these ones. So I could have done baby almonds, but there's definitely a hard limit to how short you can go with them, because otherwise, yeah, you're going to be filing into your sidewall, and if you're filing into your sidewall, then you're going to get some sidewall receding. And that's not great. All right, so trying to do this as smoothly as I can. Liner brushes, of course, don't do super tight curves very well. That's usually what the detail brush is for. Really, if I was smart, I would just use the detail brush for the corner, for the arc part. And I'm not that smart, so I'm not doing that. And let's use that. And we'll go here-ish. I don't know if y'all can hear Jammy Dodger snoring, but she is doing a good little snore right now. Oh boy. Tell you what, this liner brush sucks. I am not a fan of this one. I mean, I can make it work, but I'm not a fan of it. We're gonna have to do some editing here. Where's my cleanup brush? There it is. My thumb right now actually is considerably shorter than my other nails, and is about the length that my other hand was before I filed it down. That is sort of the shortest I will go as an almond. So very little free edge. But any shorter than that for me, I'm cutting into my sidewalls. So I can't go shorter than that. It does depend on the shape of your nail bed, the length of your nail bed. So obviously that's going to be different for everybody, but you really don't want to be filing into the area of the area where it attaches on the side, or you're just going to end up causing your sidewalls to recede. And then, of course, you end up with a weaker area and more likely to split and have problems there. That's not good. Okay, doing a little bit of tidying up here. I don't want to do too much, but get a little tidying up so it's not quite so obviously trash. And then go in with a finer detail brush to put in the little circles. And I don't think we have to go too small or too precise or too close together with these. I think we can just kind of throw them in there, be a little sloppy. One of the things I like about the style of this work is that it is so organic, and so there's a lot of freedom because it's sort of more about color and movement than it is about detail and precision, which is fun sometimes. Sometimes we like detail and precision, and sometimes we like freedom and flow and movement. They're both good things. All your nails have one sidewall that's receding more than the other? Yeah, I think that's not uncommon. I think a lot of that sort of thing often has to do with just how you use your hands, you know? Like my nail beds on my left hand, I think, are a little longer than they are on my right hand, and I think that has a lot to do with just hand dominance and how I'm using the hand. How do you file this shape? You just do. It's sort of the way I kind of think about it when I'm doing them is I sort of figure out where the midpoint is, and then I'll sort of go like a little bit like just sort of a straight line from the sidewall to the midpoint at the very tip. Get that sort of straightened out and done, and then lose some of the tip by just curving it gently on both sides. And during that portion of the process, I like just do a little bit on one side and then a little bit on the other side, and a little bit on one side, a little bit on the other side. Just kind of go back and forth until it looks right. It's a lot of just practice and fiddling around. It can help to have nail polish on when you're shaping, because that way you can't see your nail line, which means if you have like an uneven or wobbly nail line, you're not going to get sort of distracted by that. Like I have a pretty wobbly nail line in spots, and so it would be pretty easy for me to end up sort of following that and ending up with something a little bit uneven as a result. So yeah, it's kind of just practice and messing around and seeing what works for you. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, there's not like a magic sort of this way works for everybody all the time. I have seen some people like basically put basically draw on their nail where, you know, they'll actually like use a marker or something to mark where the midpoint is and where they want the shape to be. and then they basically just file to that spot, to wherever they've drawn those lines. So that might be an option, if that's a thing that works for your brain. But yeah, I think a lot of it is just straight up practice, unfortunately. And I know that that is not a very satisfying answer, so I'm sorry. All right. I think we're almost done with these little circles, and then I'm going to fill in the area between the circles where the black will be, and in these little areas. Is this thing focusing properly? Y'all gotta let me know if it's having trouble focusing. If it starts to make a lot of noise, I can sometimes tell that it's having issues, but if it's just like straight up focusing on the wrong thing in a very sort of steady and dedicated manner, which we know it sometimes likes to do, I can't really tell that from how it sounds. Because it sounds like it's doing the right thing if it's just sort of being relatively steady. All right, I think I will do black out to the edge here, just to kind of keep things fairly simple. So I don't want to overcomplicate these. And of course we want to have every nail be a little bit different. I mean, they're all going to be a little bit different regardless, even if I tried to make them identical, but I want it to be sort of intentionally different. Okay, so there is my black sort of guidelines. You like my circles? Thank you. All right, so here's where I'm at. We've got the basic shapes in there. And the next thing is going to be to experiment, and hopefully this is going to work the way I want. I think I should actually, I'm just going to do a little test. So if I have like a little area where I paint in a little sort of white swooshy, I probably should have done this on a black mat, but y'all just have to suffer. I'll try and show it to you closer up when I've done it. Okay, and then if I take some of the other color and mix it in while it is still wet, just sort of... Now, of course, the problem with this method when doing it on the nails is that it is going to take a little extra time to dry because of that thickness, which is why I only did one coat at the beginning, and I'm gonna have to be careful not to let it get too thick. And I think, yeah, it seems like I can kind of work it. I don't know how well you can see, but there's this white area, and then a little bit of mixing, and then the more sort of blue area along the bottom here. So I think that's kind of what I'm going for. I might need to employ a little bit of thinner to help make that work nicely, but I think that's the direction I want to go. I think this is going to work. I believe. You can see it, but if I like, you will try to suffer to see it. I don't want you to suffer. I never want you to suffer. Especially not you, Couch Potato. Some of y'all, maybe. I don't know. Okay. Come on. So, we will start with this one on the edge here. And I don't want to do this too thick, but I want to do it thick enough that it's going to stay wet long enough for me to mix in without it causing weird glooping and streaking. And it might, we'll see what happens here, but it might be the case that I want to pre-mix parts of it. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna want to add a little bit of thinner to this. Where is my, oh my god, it's right there. Like in front of my face. Okay, so I'm gonna do a little bit of mixing here with some thinner to help me make this work. Because I really want to try and get this watercolor effect, this running glaze effect that that Caleb has in this mug. Now, I know that in pottery, this effect, of course, is happening because of the glaze running, melting down a little bit as it's being fired. So it's quite a different sort of method for getting that effect, but I want to try and mimic the overall vibe of it with this. And I want to keep it looking nice and squishy, because that is one of the things I like about the way that it looks on the mug, is that it has a squishy quality. All right, what do we think? I like that. I think that's pretty good. Katya, why are you still up, my friend? Hello, welcome. Not that I'm, sad that you're still up. I think it's great, but it does seem a little late. All right. Very glad to have you here, though. Even though it is well past your bedtime. We are working on trying to get this nice runny glaze watercolory sort of effect, preferably without bubbles, if we can help it. From this beautiful mug that I have. I need a little bit more of this. I need a little bit more thinner. The problem with doing any kind of hand-painted stuff like this, of course, is that you end up just... your polish dries out so fast while it is on the mat or on the palette. So I end up having to do a lot of adding thinner. All right, try and get that nice. Oop, went a little bit into the white there. We don't want to go through the white to the bare nail. There we go. There's the second one. Pretty happy with this so far. It was an accident that you stayed up so late? Ooh, you're off tomorrow. That's exciting. PhD defense for your friend? Man, the post-defense party is sometimes a real doozy. You don't always know whether you're going to be celebrating or commiserating. I mean, in theory, a good PI should not be letting someone defend unless they're pretty confident that they're going to pass. But, you know, shit happens. And even if you do pass, sometimes you can get some pretty brutal feedback. So sometimes the drinking is just a party, and sometimes the drinking is a little bit of crying too. All right. Hopefully, in the case of your friend, it's just going to be a celebration. I got a little bit too thick there. I need to add a little more thinner in here to degloopify it. Try and get that nice streaky sort of gradient-ish effect. Oof. Playing with fire here. I'm like right on the verge of overworking this. I gotta be careful. Okay. I think that we're okay there. You promise you won't heckle? Thank you. I appreciate it. Maymay, you crawled out of bed. Did you go to bed early? Were you not feeling well, Maymay? How is your new orange boy? And have you settled on a name for him? I was thinking you could call him Tang as another option if you don't like Manny. For similar reasons, of course. Yes, I too, Katja, would like to know what you painted on your nails. Alright, get a little bit of this mixing in here. Uh-oh, we glooping up. Gotta get some more thinner in here. Jem, you spent 4.5 hours doing your cousin's hair tonight? My goodness. 4.5 hours is a long dang time. Copper half fringe underneath with black on top. Half fringe underneath with black on top. That is a lot of work. I bet it looks freaking cool though. So probably very worth it. You've been calling him the Urdu word for orange? That's awesome, Maymay. Maybe you should just do that. Just call him that. What is the Urdu word for orange? I mean, I can look it up, but it's hard to look it up while I'm doing this. And y'all know I'll forget later because my brain is not properly attached. Oh no, you got a migraine? Damn, that sucks. Sorry to hear that. But it sounds like bed was the right place, and I'm not sure why you got out of it. Katja, you have Chameleon Winter Retreat on your right hand and Cadillacer You Wonder Why on your left. I hope you posted photos because I don't know what either of those look like, but I know that Chameleon and Cadillacer both do awesome polishes, so. Musumbi? I'm probably saying that very wrong. We can work on that pronunciation later. When you don't have a headache. Hopefully that is done with soon. I know it's very difficult. Hard on your body to be fasting. All right. So we're done with the turquoise portion. And so time to move on to some of these other colors. It looks like he goes in roughly rainbowish order from purple through the green and then starts back to purple again. So we will do the same here. I got it, Musumbi. That is a cute name. I think you should just stick with that, unless it's like really weird and wrong for some reason to use a food name for cats. But personally, I think it's adorable to use food names for animals. Certainly better than using human names for animals. I've always felt a little, like, just mildly uncomfortable with the idea of using human names for animals, even though we had a dog named Walter when I was a kid, but I didn't name him. But I think that I formed this opinion because when I was a kid, my father and stepmother had a dog named Maggie, and while I did not at that time go by Maggie, it is a short form for my actual name, so it was a little bit like, really? That's a choice. Call your dog the one of the most common nicknames for your actual human offspring's name. I don't know. Feels like a weird decision to me. Really should have opened all of these up ahead of time, but... Alright. Whoop. Cat hair. I have like extra cat hair at the moment because of visiting my grand kitties. And they have so very much hair and their fur is so very long. And so it's like... somehow when it's very long fur, it feels like there's more of it. I don't know why that is. It seems hairier. All right. I think for these guys, it's going to be, for the small dots, it's going to be a little bit too difficult to get a really proper sort of good gradient going. So I think I'm going to just sort of fudge it in the little dot areas and not worry too much about getting that. Yes, Margaret. And I did for a while in my teens go by Maggie. Actually, I went by Maggie for a lot of years. I went by Meg for a little bit. I went by Maggie for a lot of years. And I have also just kind of accepted Meggie. And pretty much anything that doesn't have an R in it is fine. Okay. Get the orange dots next. And then Did I didn't grab a yellow. There is a yellow in here, and I did not grab a yellow. I'm a fool. It's not the right color of yellow at all. I think the closest yellow I have is this Banana Hacks. Yeah, seems about right. The mug is like a psychedelic butterfly, you're correct. Yeah, the watercolor look is really it's challenging. I think you need to employ a lot of thinner to make it work. At least that's how I'm accomplishing it here. I have seen some really interesting stuff done with using like glue as a wet base. So you're doing like a wet in wet technique, but using glue, like just clear Elmer's glue, the same stuff I DIY my Peely base with. But that, it just dries so slowly if you use it on its own, and if you add ethanol to it or isopropanol to it to make it dry faster, then it sort of ends up like losing the sort of the body that helps it, you know, flow and move properly. So yeah, I don't know what the right answer is for that. But I feel like I've seen it work for other people. I'm just not patient enough for it. But this seems to be working okay. Katya, I don't know. I think you might have missed sort of the basics of how I was doing that technique, but basically I'm using a milky jelly as the base, and then using thinner and also blending as what the hell am I doing? Peggy, what are you doing? I'm distracting myself because I'm talking. Yeah, using a little bit of thinner or mixing the jelly with the polish as needed to sort of get everything to move together a little bit. I definitely had some spots where I really overworked it a lot, and I think that's a distinct danger with this. I think no matter what, it's going to be really easy to overwork it, overmix it, and then have problems. Okay, so it ends with the green and then it goes right back into the purple again. So for these little dots, I'm not worrying about getting good blending. I'm just trying to sort of roughly get a little bit of the vibe. I just heard a cat snuffle. And then these guys are going to be the magenta jelly. There we go. And I think that's pretty much got first nail down. You visited your sister 2 weeks ago. You still have dog hair everywhere. Awful. Katya, so no Marge? Absolutely not Marge. Here's the problem. Here's the problem with the name Margaret. First of all, it's just not me. Like, I'm just not that person. That's like I have two grandmothers named Margaret, and that's fine. But it's not that I hate the name. It's just I don't feel like it's who I am. But the real problem is the sheer number of people, particularly in North America, who will not say Margaret. They will say Margaret. And I cannot. I cannot live my life listening to people call me Margaret. It's not okay. That is my problem with the name Margaret. It's a struggle calling me Peggy because you have an Aunt Peggy and a coworker Peggy. It's okay. You can just call me Elby. You saw someone using alcohol markers? Yeah, I've seen people use alcohol markers. It seems like a really good way to do it. Or alcohol inks, also an option. Yeah, so I basically for this part, and actually you'll see me do it again on the next nail. But I'm basically just mixing a. This one is Dimension Nails Vanilla Almond Milk, so it's a milky white jelly. That I already have one coat of it on here, so you can see it's pretty sheer, but it will build. And it won't ever quite reach full opacity, but it makes it really nice for blending either with jellies or with cremes. And so, yeah, that's kind of the idea. The blue is really pretty. This is the only creme that Dom has ever done. She did exactly one creme. It's a fucking banger. It's a neon. Like, I don't know what that woman's deal is, but she needs to start making some more fucking cremes because it turns out she's really goddamn good at them. Margarita is the Finnish variant of my name with rolling R's. There are a lot of cultures that have beautiful versions of it. It's completely fine. Rolling R's are okay. Rolling R's I don't mind. It's just such a harsh sound. And it's the way that so many the way that it's said in so many North American accents. It's really harsh. And so I do not like it. That's all. Plus, like I said, it doesn't feel like it's for me. I need to let this dry a little bit before I pick up the rest of it. I had a bunch of Polish guys I used to work with. I just got freaking polish all over my fingers. That called me Maja. And I think we'll go ahead and do some sort of non-standard butterfly shaping here because the inspiration for this, let's remember, is not biblically accurate butterflies. The inspiration for this is Caleb's mug. And Caleb's mug does not strictly follow the rules of butterfly wing structure. It follows the rules of making pretty swooshies. And I think that's beautiful. So we're gonna make a swooshy there. Yeah, that's okay. Uh-oh. Hang on. Oh my goodness. It's not a stream until I've sneezed. Oh my god, Jammy Dodgers is being adorable. Hang on. She curled her little face up. in with all of her little bundle of paws. And it's ridiculously cute. The rules of butterfly wing structure as outlined in the Bible. Yeah. Exactly. Famously described in great detail. In the book of Morphogenesis. You lost your connection. You tried to advertise Switzerland and how lovely you say, Margaret. I mean, so far Switzerland has never personally done me wrong, so I believe you that they say it a nice way. Not that Finland has ever personally harmed me, but you know. I could pretend they have. Censorship. Do you think that that YouTube is trying to silence Couch Potato so that there's no like pro Switzerland propaganda on the platform? That would be wild. I kind of want to start that. Oh boy. Conspiracy theory is the word that I'm looking for. Wow. How did I lose that word? That was really an interesting choice that my brain made. I tell you what, I have never been a person who is good at words while also something else. And words while also something else while also streaming. It's like it's not brain time. You do not get me at my smartest, I'll tell you that much. You get me at what is possibly my absolute stupidest. And I hope that you appreciate that. I'm doing kind of a bad job with these dots as well, I have to say. I think it's going to be fine, but I think it needs to be acknowledged that I am doing a bad job with the dots. Partly it's because this is a little bit too thin. So let's add a little extra polish to it. Move there and I can hear it every day. No, thank you. If I move anywhere outside of the US, it is going to be Canada. I think I made a tactical error with starting to fill these in too early. Because I did a much better job with the thumb. Part of it is also the position is a little more awkward here. Trying to work on this nail in this position. This is not how I normally do my my detail stuff. I pretty much only ever hold my hand like this when I'm on stream trying to paint for y'all so that everybody can see what the hell I'm doing. Because the way that I normally hold my hand would not work very well for streaming. Okay, we want another one of those there. And we'll try and sort of hint at another circle. Whoop, whoop. I overdid it. Okay. fill in these other little spots. Jamie Dodgers is over there snoring. You have clips that have proof of your brain not braining while streaming? Yeah. I feel like... Oh my god. Look what I just did. I feel like every streamer just like... brain shut off instantly while stream. I feel like it's a really common... Because I hear other streamers talking about it. I don't know if it's just that there's too much just like... mental overhead involved with streaming while also doing something else, and like everybody pretty much experiences it, but I have definitely heard multiple streamers talking about it. Yeah, I mean, talking and doing stuff to begin with is challenging. Talking and doing stuff while you're also trying to like entertain people. It's probably very similar to like... Actually, in a way, it is quite similar to when you're like hosting a party, like a dinner party kind of thing. But in the specific context where you have like a fairly open sort of kitchen slash entertaining area, and so while you are trying to get dinner prepped and get everything set up for your guests, you're also trying to like talk to them and entertain them. It's like it's very similar to that. It's a lot of mental load all at once. So I'm just cleaning up some of these dots a little bit because I feel like they went a little too small, some of them. Okay. You just forget you're streaming and wander off to do other things? Yeah. That would be very funny. Yeah, attention split several ways is a recipe for brain not braining. Also, I forgot that I had put the cats up display, so we're back to nails now. Would you like to focus? Thank you. Okay, so we've got this for the index now, which I think is kind of a fun little form. Ah. Come on. That last little bit does not want to come off of there. Get off. Get off. Get off. Alright, it's not coming. That's fine. Be like those early aught streamers who had a camera on while they lived their lives. Yeah. They, I think a lot of the streaming platforms started like explicitly, not like punishing, but like demonetizing streamers for doing that, because like if part of the financial incentives for some of the big streamers is like, around how much time people are watching you for. So like if you're just constantly, sort of on, even if you're not actually on, it sort of gives you, it's a little bit like fake, almost fraudulent content creation in a way. Like, it's not actually fraudulent, but it feels fraudulent. You know what I mean? Like if you're getting paid to stream and your so-called streaming is literally just having your camera on while you just exist, and half the time you're not even in the same room, it just doesn't seem right. So a lot of the streaming platforms basically made it so that you actually have to have stuff happening on your stream for it to count for stuff like that. Okay. Fake engagement, yeah. Yeah, it's not the kind of channel I would want. I do like it's different if it's like a like a bird cam or a cat cam or whatever, wildlife cameras, things like that, because you expect to not necessarily have stuff happening all the time on those. But those are also not typically like primary revenue sources. Sometimes they can be part of that for some streamers. But often they're places that like take donations and such. Okay. So we're putting in this white jelly, milky jelly, and then add in some of the blue along the one edge. Going in while it is still wet. Trying to work it in a little bit, and then also mixing some of it with some of the white jelly. And this is where we end up. I needed thinner on the thumb for this part as well to make it really work nicely. So we want to kind of mix in a bit of thinner and a bit of the blue and a bit of the jelly white. And sort of just try and work it in there without overworking it too much. Try and get a little bit of that gradient / watercolor look. You're not really looking for a smooth gradient with this. At least I'm not looking for a smooth gradient with this. I'm looking for a streaky gradient, because I want it to resemble this streaking that we get from the glaze movement. Need more jelly. I don't think they cut you off. Maybe they'll cut you off or put you to sleep. I think some of them just like you get demonetized or something. But I don't know what the deal is. I haven't really looked into it because I don't actually care that much. I just remember hearing about it at some point in time. There's a webcast called Norpa Live in Finland where they follow your own subspecies of ringed seal. That's cute. That sounds nice. Yeah, that sort of thing, they're usually like, they'll have like multiple cameras that they'll switch around to if it's like, sort of constantly, like zoo cameras and things like that. They'll have different streams that they'll switch to, or different cameras that they'll switch to, so that a lot of the time, a good proportion of the time, there are animals on the screen for stuff. So, they do their best to try and make sure that there's activity most of the time, at least. But also most of those kinds of channels will also be taking donations. They'll have memberships and whatnot that support the channels. So they're not necessarily just operating on like ad revenue and things like that. Oop. Sorry, didn't mean to bonk the microphone there. And then there's people like me, and there's no monetization for a stream like this. Not unless you have enough followers, and then you can start doing that sort of thing. But I'm nowhere near that. There's not going to be any monetization here for a good long time. If ever. All right, more thinner. I see Mei has gone back to bed, which seems like a very good idea. Some sort of glacial relic ringed seal. They only live in one lake. Oh, wow. That's cool. Those kinds of things always make me like a little bit sad, but I'm also so excited that people get to know about them, and we live in a time when you can like go on the internet and find out about this like incredibly rare creature that lives in one tiny little location, and then you can actually see it going around and doing its little daily stuff that it does. I think it's so fucking cool. We're lucky in a lot of ways. And then there are the ways in which I just would like the times that we live in to be less interesting. You know what I mean? I could stand for the times to be a little more boring than they are. All right. Oop. Did not pick up enough there. There we go. Was Kat gone for a little bit? Yeah, the May You Live in Interesting Times. I've also heard it as a, you know, a Chinese curse or whatever. I think a lot of cultures claim it, but it's certainly not what I want out of my life right now. I would like things to be less interesting. I think it would be good if things were less interesting. You were half asleep. People aren't accustomed to boring and safe. They crave chaos and unrest. I don't crave chaos and unrest. I don't want that. I mean, it can be fun in fiction, I guess. You know, I like to read stories where other people are experiencing, where fictional people that don't actually exist are experiencing chaos and unrest. And then eventually there's a resolution that is positive. You know, that's fine. I'm down with that. I'm gonna start this, oh, jeez, Murphy. I'm gonna start this gradient, this little rainbow off partway down here. So we're gonna have our, I keep, like, my hand keeps gluing itself to this thing, this cotton pad. All right. And then the next one down is going to be the magenta. I put a little too much jelly in that dot, but that's okay. Yeah, I think a lot of cultures have recognized that maybe living in interesting times that are too exciting and too interesting is maybe not actually that great. Certainly boring and safe is at least pretty good for being able to get steady meals and, you know, not get murdered. which I'm personally a huge fan of not getting murdered and of having meals. I think both of those things are pretty great. I only did one dot in that location, but that's okay. We're just gonna keep going to the yellow and not worry about that. Oh, you're starting to get a little stringy. Uh-oh, getting stringies. Getting stringies on my nail. Gonna have to do a little tidy up there. It's been weird going from 3 to 4 nail streams a week to just this one. I've been thinking about adding a second stream actually. But if I do, it'll just be for like doing my cabochons and stuff. Because I need to do some organization. If I do, it would probably be on like Saturday or Sunday. But I think Simply streams on Saturday. Which, like, not that I'm in any way in competition with her, but I feel like a lot of people go to see that. It takes up a good chunk of the day. So either it would be like Saturday later in the day or like Sunday. Sunday might be a better day. I don't know. What do y'all think? Would you do Sunday during the day? That would have the advantage of being better for some of my European friends and followers. At least the ones that keep human hours. Magenta, that's that one. Just a little wee bit of magenta right up there. There we go. Yeah, Katya, if I add another stream, it would definitely be earlier. I could do a weekday thing, but I feel like doing a weekday sort of precludes a lot of other people from being able to come as well. So yeah, I might start adding a Sunday stream, but as I said, if I do add a Sunday stream, it's likely to mostly just be things like you know, painting cabochons and things like that, at least until I'm done organizing that shit. I need to do that, and it's easier for me to make myself do something like that if I'm streaming it. Okay, so we got our second nail done. We have 2 cute nails. Time for a sip of water. Time for a sip of water and some cat time. Jammy Dodgers is very sleepy. Sleeping so nicely. Katja, you strive for human hours but tend to slip into bat life. Yeah, we're very much night people to an extent that I mean, really, we live on Hawaii time, even though we live on the east coast of the United States. It is easier to tune into a stream than it is to make plans with friends in real life and touch grass. You're not wrong. Also, good advice. Everyone hydrate and stretch. Oof. Ah, yeah. I'm gonna pet a cat. Oh, big yawn, Jammy Dodgers. What a good girl. Oh, such a good Jammies. Oh, scratches. Yeah, these are scratches. you a good girl? Yeah? Yeah, you a good girl? Okay. Oh, shake that head. You gotta clean the human stink off you now. She has to clean the human stink off her now. I contaminated her fur. Okay. Next nail. Oh boy, we're already at 9:30. I'm gonna have to step it up here. I feel like I'm kind of in the groove with it now, though. Like I feel like I have a pretty good handle on the technique. So I think we can do this relatively quickly. It's easier because you can wear your pajamas, yeah. Unfortunately, when I'm streaming, I can't really completely schlub out. I do actually have to, like, make sure that I have showered recently so that my hair isn't all greasy and, you know, put some clothes on. I swear, the things I do for you people. Okay. I feel like for this one, I want to do something a little bit different. I want to do some, like, layered stuff. Like, do a couple of rows of these little swooshies. So I'll do like one like that. And then I did not do a very good job of that one, but we can clean that up. Kind of a fun alternate version of this. So this nail is going to be mostly blue. But I think we'll try and work in some of the dots over on this side. Yeah, I think this will work. That's starting to dry out a little. Okay. This makes it a little bit more different from the other two nails that I've done so far too, which I think is good. I don't want them all too samey. And I think we'll carry these dots around. Have like a whole sort of region of them here. Nuh-uh, it's only 3:30 p.m. in Hawaii. Yeah, you know what time I go to bed? At like 3:30 a.m. So, you know, it's not evening for me. I haven't had supper. I've had lunch. I had lunch right before I streamed. Or at least what passes for lunch in my life. I don't really do lunch so much, but I do afternoon snacking. Cat and me live, yes. As long as I have clothes on, everything is okay. I mean, yeah, it would be, but trust me, my hair gets real greasy real fast. And boy, can you ever tell. Despite the fact that I don't actually shampoo it that often, it does not take long after a shampooing for it to start looking real limp and greasy. It's just because it's so fine and straight that it just kind of hangs there. You had tacos for supper. Delicious. I forgot to move back to the the actual painting screen. Not that anybody here, I think, is going to be upset about having extra cat time, but you know, some of you might have wanted to see the nail painting portion of the stream. Jamie looks shocked at my greasy hair confession. Jamie is well aware. Jamie's face just looks like that. Jamie Dodgers is like part owl, part meerkat, part otter. She's everything but cat. She's like less than 1% cat. All right, I think that is going to be good for that nail, for the black parts. You have the fine hair curse too. It's such a problem. And like, I can't even use those dry shampoo things. I've tried. They just do not work for my hair. I don't know if it's just that they work better for thicker hair or what the deal is, but they don't help. They don't help, and then I'm all powdery and unpleasant, so it's not good. Okay, I do want to do a little bit of cleanup in a couple of spots here. I'm trying not to get too picky about this, but it is kind of annoying me how thick and blobby it got in a couple of these spots. So I'm just gonna do a wee little touch up. And then we'll get into the color. Okay. Need to get rid of this black. Jamie is 100% goodest girl. That is a fact. The other cats I have, I love them very much. Budgie Smuggler, a delight. Not the goodest girl. A good girl, not the goodest girl. She earned her nickname, or her name rather. And the Cinnamon is definitely a little menace. That cat is a shithead. I love her. She is a shithead. Okay. Yeah, I also have the super sensitive skin. Couch potato. I know what that is like. I can't do most fragrances and stuff. They try to murder me. It's bad. Shitheads do make lovable kitties. That is a fact. I adore Budgie. She was my budget kitty. She was my BOGO kitty. Buy one get one half off. Budgie was the half off one. Literally, that's how that worked. Jammy Dodgers was the fancy breed, and Budgie was one of the normal cats that they were stuck with out of the litter. So they're like, if you take one of the normal cats, you get a discount. I'm like, yeah, okay, sure. I'll take your discount cat. It's Jammy and Budgie's parents were, one of them was a Scottish fold and the other one was a Munchkin. Because you can't breed two Scottish folds together and you can't breed two Munchkins together, because in both cases you get kittens that are all kinds of fucked up. And so they breed the Munchkin to the fold. At least this place bred the Munchkin to the fold, so that they would have a quarter of the kittens would be on average Munchkin folds, and then they would have a quarter that are folds without the Munchkin gene, and a quarter that are Munchkins without the fold gene. But then they get a quarter that are just like normal ass cats. So Budgie was one of the normal ass cats. Also, I didn't realize back then that even so it was sort of sold to me as like all the reading up on it and stuff that I did was like, you know, if you have the cats that are just like if they just have one copy of the fold gene, then they're generally okay and they don't really have huge arthritis problems and everything. And that's mostly if they have both copies of the gene, but that's a fucking lie. They're less fucked up, but they're still real fucked up. So I don't recommend getting Scottish fold cats or Munchkin cats, because in both cases the mutation that causes the adorableness is a developmental deformity. Their cartilage doesn't grow properly. And I don't think you should do that. Munchkins, I don't think it's the cartilage. I'm not sure what it is with the Munchkins, but with the folds, it's the cartilage. Doesn't develop right. And yeah, it fucks them up. So I don't recommend them as a breed. I think it's not great to purposely breed animals that are fucked up, even if they are cute as a result. There's no doubt that Jammy Dodgers is cute as heck. Lover, wouldn't trade her for anything, but if I'd known then what I know now, I think I would have pushed harder for shelter cats. But yeah, she's on an arthritis medication that has her in pretty decent shape in terms of pain control, but it's still, you know, she still has the damage to her joints. And that medication only became available fairly recently, so she went through a lot of her life in a lot of pain. And now she's an old lady. And she's probably actually in less pain now than she was when she was half the age she is now. Yeah, cats are made to leap. Yeah, cat Punnett squares, the Munchkin fold thing. It's funny because there's so many things in genetics that that the Punnett squares do not work well for, because there aren't actually that many things that are like that many sort of obvious characteristics that are exclusively controlled by a single gene, or predominantly controlled by a single gene, that sort of works for that has, either that is either dominant or recessive, because that's not actually like in the high school genetics sort of introductions. They sort of teach it as though that's how all genes work, and oh boy, is it ever not how all genes work. It's there's a whole lot of different ways for genes to interact with each other, and the dominant recessive model is not actually as common as you might think, but it does happen to hold in this specific case. All right. Talking about wiener dogs in there. Detached earlobes, yes. Detached earlobes are one of the things that is a dominance versus recessive thing. You, a cinnamon bun at your feet. Like an actual cinnamon bun or a cat? I feel like if you have an actual cinnamon bun at your feet, then either your feet are in the wrong place or the cinnamon bun is in the wrong place. I mean, far be it from me to tell you what to do with your feet or your cinnamon buns, but seems like an unusual choice, that's all. A cat bun, okay. Yeah, Silencia is the stuff that Jammy Dodger's on. It doesn't fix the arthritis, like it doesn't actually make it better, doesn't cure anything or heal any damage that has been done. But it knocks out part of the pain pathways that are, at least this is my understanding, it knocks out part of the pain pathways that are involved in arthritis, specifically. And so while the joints are still very much deteriorating and very screwed up, the cat is not in pain. And it's really noticeable. Jammy has done incredibly well on Silencia. Hashtag not sponsored. But yeah, she's really like, she runs now. She runs and jumps, and it had been, even as a kitten, she wasn't super into running and jumping and playing. But it had been years since she had done a lot more than sort of hobble from one place to another to find a better sleeping spot. And she used to overgroom her tummy, which I believe was also partly from pain. It's a common pain response for them, is to overgroom. Yeah, so she, like, all her tummy hair has grown back now, and she sometimes just like gets the zoomies and races around the house, and she runs up and down the stairs, no problem. She jumps. She's doing great. It's made a really big difference for her. And actually, one of Rachel's cats is also on Silencia. She's a lot younger than Jammy. I wish that the Silencia had been available for her earlier. Nana, you were eating chocolate egg and painting nails with brownie points. What's brownie points? Is that one of the Holo Taco cereal things? Or baked whatever? The one that had the butter thing? The one that had the butter thing. You know, the Holo Taco butter. Your bestie says her cat is back to acting like a hoodlum kitten. That's adorable. Can't tell where the chocolate ends and the polish starts. Ice cream, that's what it was. I don't fucking remember. I just remember it being one of the drops that I ended up not getting because I had too many colors that were too similar to them. You know, I'm gonna need fresh polish here. Cookies and creams. Cookies and creams. Cookies and creams. You're welcome for that. I know you all enjoyed that very much. I got the butter one as my birthday gift thing because I hadn't picked up anything from that collection. I actually haven't bought anything from Holo Taco for a little while, but I had my birthday code, and it was that or got cake. That was the other option, and I already have the got cake. So I was like, well, I don't really feel like having a second bottle of got cake. So I don't love that one. I mean, I don't hate it or anything. It's just not one of my favorites. So I don't reach for it very often. I do occasionally. All right, so let's go. I really should have put a couple of colors out here. Alright, we got a purple, we got a magenta, we got a red, and then I need more dots, but I also need more polish. So let's get the polish dots out first. Okay, jelly. Jelly. Trying to be a little bit more efficient with this round. You know? I'm trying. I'm working on it. So then we got orange. And then we got yellow. And then we got green. And then we skip right back down to the indigo-y kind of purple. It's not really quite indigo, but it's borderline. It's starting to gloop up on me here. I gotta move quick. Yak. Trying not to get overwhelmed. You got lots of baby excitement in your life there. Baby excitement is definitely easily overwhelming. Okay, now I did red, we got orange. Yak, we got stringy orange. Oh no, no, no. Yo, we're stringy. Okay, it's okay. I saved it. I saved it. I'm gonna go ahead and make the exact same mistake with the yellow. It's gonna be fine. It's all gonna work out perfectly, y'all. I promise. It's gonna be great. I also have some green, or not green, pink stringiness there. This is what happens when you decide to just power through it, even though you know that the polish is getting too stringy to use. There we go. We survived. Okay. You have the pink ice cream one because it was a reward? Yeah. The one that I got should be coming. I think that I got the shipping label like yesterday, and I think it's on its way as of today. So it's I got 2 of the new collection ones that I ordered. There's whatever the obvious one that I would get. The like turquoise with green flakes in it. And then the pink one with the orange flakes in it. I do not recall the names of any of the polishes in that collection, but I ordered those 2 and then got my birthday gift. And what else? One more thing. What was the other thing that I got? Oh, I got one from the Cottagecore collection. I got the time one from the Cottagecore collection. Am I only doing one hand? Yes, I'm only doing one hand. This is... Katya, we're in bed with you? That's exciting. I probably should have told my husband that I was going to be in bed with another woman tonight. Make sure he's okay with that. Pink is what, a catch? Let's see. I think we're gonna do... He's got part that has this interesting, like, structure like this, with then a loopy bit coming off the end that's a little bit shorter. I'm just looking at the mug here for inspo. That is too thick. That is a thick bitch. I did not intend to make that line that thick. Oh my goodness. Unacceptably thick. All right. It's okay. We can probably save it. It'll be fine. We'll make it work, y'all. We can do this. All right. And then on this side, whoop, and that side I made too thin. Like, what am I doing here? It's like this is my first time. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Okay, I don't like how this one's coming out at all. I am tempted to scrap this nail and start over. But in the interest of time, I'm not going to do that. I am going to be annoyed with it, though. That's my plan. My plan is to continue doing it and then just be annoyed about it. Your Holo Taco cleanup brush died during the Mani-a-thon yesterday. That is a shame. They do have a limited lifespan. But that's why I usually have several backups. Because sometimes they just are all done. They're all done being helpful for you. And you need to let them go. Sometimes that's just how it is. Okay, I'm gonna fix this one because I'm really unhappy with this. And I know that it looks like I'm making it worse, but just trust me. Because we have a small cleanup brush. We're gonna use my small cleanup brush. And we're gonna do some surgery here. Gonna widen this out a little bit. And we're gonna make it work. It's gonna be just fine. You doubt things will get all that exciting as you're about to nod off? Well, that's okay. You're allowed. You wouldn't be the first person to fall asleep on my stream either. Which honestly, y'all, am I that boring? Rude. It's all you Euros with your ridiculous time zones. Alright, this is also too thick. Alright, that's better at least. It's not perfect, but it's better. You don't know what we all understand as a sleepover? It's true, I'm not a chaotic streamer. It's not in my nature. I don't want to be anything I'm not, and I'm just not a person who like gets all jumpy and bouncy and hollering and whatnot, as a general rule. Not that I can't be like that. I certainly am sometimes very noisy and silly. But I would feel like I was having to force that if I was going to act that way on stream. And that's just not my style. I would rather just be my regular chill self. This is like 90% of the way I am in real life. Unless you want to go for a walk and find bugs, and then you will see a whole other side of me. But that side is not about doing nails. That side is doing a whole other thing. Y'all want to go outside and do a bug walk? The hollering and the panic. It wouldn't be hollering and panic. Well, not from me anyway, if we did a bug walk. I like doing bug walks. And also toad walks. Toad walks are very good. We have a lot of toads and frogs around here. Virtual bug walk is tough because, like, it would be 90% just, like, walking in the woods. Doing nothing. And then every once in a while, I would get real excited and then struggle to show it to you. Because the camera would not be up to it. Y'all just gonna have to come visit me, that's all. Just everybody come to Maryland. We'll do nails and then we'll go for a bug walk. Okay? We'll go look at bugs while our nails dry. The last nail friend that I had to come visit me, we took her out for a walk. She was actually staying with us for a couple of days, and we took her out for a walk at night. We often go for walks at night, and you know, Brian is functionally bald. He has a little bit of scruff, but it's basically bald. I, of course, keep my hair short and don't give a fuck what it looks like. But this friend of mine, she has longer curly hair. And it turns out, if it's raining out, the curly hair girlies do not like it. They do not like what it does to their hair. I didn't even think about it. We're out for a walk and it starts raining and Brian and I are just like, oh, look, here's this and oh, here's this and let's stop and take a look at this. And, you know, like it's not raining. Well, I guess it was raining fairly hard at one point in time, but it wasn't like unpleasantly cold or anything like that. It was just fine. And so it didn't occur to us that we should, you know, hurry to get inside or anything. And anyway, we were way out on the trail, so there was really no place to go. But yeah, it was very funny. I was suddenly reminded of the fact that some people have hair that takes fucking forever to dry. They just don't want to have to deal with that. It's a very foreign concept for me because I've just kept my hair short all my life. This is about as long as it ever gets. And it only ever gets this long because I haven't gotten around to dealing with it. Something in the hair like bugs? No, she did not get bugs in her hair. I think she was slightly horrified about the cockroaches on the trail. They are wood roaches, though. They're like not the same kind of roaches that come into your house. They don't come inside. They have no interest in that, and they don't survive well indoors. But we do have wood roaches in the area. They're cute. Okay. You'll do the nails and skip the bug walk? ASMR bug walk. That would be funny. It's not very ASMR when we get near the peeper pond and they're all screaming. So loud. Wildly loud. Like actually painful to your ears loud. It's quite incredible how noisy they get. Okay. Now, Menma, you would have heard about that because it was Vala that this happened. This happened to if. So you would have heard about if there were bugs in her hair. When you were little, you collected spiders and beetles, and you once had a tick, and ever since then you don't like insects touching you. I think that's valid. I've never never had a tick on me. I've only ever seen a tick in person once, when Brian got one. So I got to extract a tick. That was like 2 years ago, I think. Something like that. It was my first tick. We do get ticks in Ontario. They're just not... They're not super common. And there's not like the large quantities. And certainly, I mean, there are more now if you're in very rural areas. But when I was a kid, there weren't as many of them. Especially in the region that I grew up in, because it just gets too cold. They die in huge numbers over the winter, and even in the regions where they're able to sort of rebound over the summer, their numbers are significantly lower. And so, you know, anytime you get a deep freeze in the wintertime, you're knocking down their numbers a whole lot. But this area, we don't get a whole lot of deep freezes. Alright, these ones are a little bit too small to get a really good mix in, so I'm just going to try and hint at the blue in there. Not worry too much about getting it too good. Save the effort for the bigger ones. You'd like to have a praying mantis as a pet? Praying mantises are cool. Unfortunately, they don't live that long. I struggle with that with pets. Like, the arachnids that I keep are all pretty long-lived species. So, you know, it's heartbreaking when they do pass, but generally you have a bunch of years with them before that happens. And so, yeah. But like praying mantises, you get a summer. That's it. That's what you get. And that is, of course, true of a lot of bugs. A lot of the large, exciting beetles are like that too. They, you know, even the ones that live for multiple years, generally speaking, most of that time is spent underground or in trees as larvae. They're little grubby buddies. And then they'll emerge as adult beetles and you know, only get a few months like that. That's kind of sad, I think. Kind of beautiful too, though. Jammy is over there freaking snoring up a storm. You got a lot of ticks there, Couch Potato? Doesn't it get real cold where you are? Wait, where do you live? I forget. Aren't you in Germany or something? I'm bad at that sort of thing. Bad at remembering where people are from. Bad at geography in general. I had to go with a friend of the family over to Rachel's place the other day, and she was like, "You can direct me there, right?" And I was like, no. You have GPS, right? GPS can direct you there. Like, once I'm a couple of blocks away, I know the way. But I don't know where the fuck you're supposed to make any turns to get there. It's like getting into a car is like getting into an elevator for me. It's just like the doors close. I'm one place, the doors close, and then I'm someplace different and the doors open. That's it. That's how cars work. I don't know what happens in between. All right, Europe roll call. You're in Switzerland. Okay. You live near the forest. Yeah, well, that'll do it. If you're not in the mountains, I guess you probably would get, or in a city, you probably would get a fair number of dicks. I mean, Toronto gets them. It's just too urban for them to have a lot of space to do well. And too much north of Toronto, it's just too cold for too much of the year for them to get too big. Or too, like, the population is to get too big. But I think, like, Toronto is at a similar latitude to a lot of Europe. Yes, you are in Finland, Minima. Minima. I knew you were in Finland. Which every time I hear Finland, I get the you might not even know it. There's a Monty Python song from one of their sketches about Finland. It just immediately pops into my head. It's very silly. Yeah, in the mountains you should have fewer ticks. But that doesn't help you if you're in one of the areas that doesn't get as cold and isn't super urban. I was just lucky because I lived most of my life in either super urban areas, therefore no place for ticks to be, growing in large populations, or in areas that get way too cold and just the numbers don't get high enough for them to really be a huge problem. Okay, now we need the colors. I will go ahead and start putting some little blobs of the different colors out. It's like a little paint palette. Okay. There we go. This one, let's start red here. And then here we will do orange. And then the next one we will do yellow, and then we'll start doing pears here as well. Because a lot of the dots on the mug come in pairs, like little double rows. Some of them are more in clusters, but all right, need a little bit more of this white jelly. Yeah, this area is really bad for mosquitoes too. We're like, this whole region is basically swamp and river, so lots of moisture, you're gonna have lots of mosquitoes. It's just the way of things. I feel like that one should be a different... I don't think that one needs to be a pair. I think this one over here makes more sense to pair with the one here. And I'm starting to get gloopy again. Darn it all. Alright, that was red. Then we're gonna do orange and then yellow, and that will be it. So, orange. And, whoop, my yellow developed a little bit of a skin there. There we go. Okay. That's cute. I actually like how that nail turned out, even though it started out horrible. You hate mosquitoes? How unique. Mosquitoes are one of the few bugs that I am more than happy to murder with impunity. I think it's good to murder mosquitoes. Not all of them. I would not choose to eradicate all mosquitoes on the planet because they are an important part of their ecosystems. But, you know, as many as you can individually murder, totally fine. Definitely encourage that. Yeah, Menma, I'm not like other girls. I hate mosquitoes. This nail looks like a mosaic and a plant, and I like it a lot. Yeah, I agree. It is a really fun one. It does look like it has a planty sort of quality. I was kind of using this section here as my inspiration for that. You get really bad allergic reactions when they get you? Yeah. So in Ontario, in especially like Northern Ontario, you get black flies that are very bitey. And so between the mosquitoes and the black flies, it's a very wet region. Lots of lakes, lots of rivers, lots of swamplands, and you know, big marshes and interconnected waterways and whatnot. And so yeah, so it's only a few months because of course the summer is relatively short, but yeah, between the black flies and the deer flies and the horse flies and the mosquitoes, it is absolutely brutal. And so here we have a lot more mosquitoes, but we don't have nearly as many of all the other biting critters. And so it's actually significantly more pleasant for me. Okay. I felt a cat touch my leg. There is a budgie. Hi, Budgie Smuggler. What you got going on? Budgie has come to visit. Apparently, she has some sort of unmet needs. I do not know what they are. Okay, I think in this case we'll do another one of these ones where we have two different directions and one nail, because I kind of like how that one worked out on the index with like the row of dots in between. I think that was sort of a fun look. So we'll do something similar over here. Jammy Dodgers snoring. Hello. Hi, Budgie Smuggler. What can I do for you? It's not time for anything. Do you just need attention? Do you need to be picked up and shown to the people? You would hate that so much. What can I do for you? Yeah? Come here. Yeah, I know. Hang on. Here's my very unhappy budgie cat. She hates to be picked up. She does not like it at all. But she's so cute. She's such a good girl. This is my good girl. She does like scritches, though. What a good budgie baby. Yeah. Let's get some fur flying. Oh, there she goes. Oof. And she's off. Alright, I'm going to give you the Cats Up display while I blow my nose here. I see she's got a little leggy showing off some beans there. What do you need, Budge? Meow? Budgie has opinions. In recent years, you've also received a large number of hornets. Well, lucky for you, hornets are delightful. I know a lot of people disagree. Okay, back to the nails here. For the most part, of course, hornets want nothing to do with you. They just want to be left alone. But I understand. They can be very annoying, and if you have an allergy, they can be downright terrifying. And if they are an invasive species, they can be a problem for the native species. That's not great. There we go. I feel like I'm gonna not know that that's a gap. All right. There we go. Couple more. Craving bread. I mean, I could always eat bread. There's never a time that I'm not like, I don't really want bread. I try not to think about bread too much because it's dangerous. When I was a kid, there was a period of time when, for a variety of reasons, I was extremely underweight, and my mom would, if I was hungry, she would encourage me to eat like fruit and vegetables and things like that. She'd be like, oh, there's bananas, there's apples, there's this, there's that. My stepfather, on the other hand, would say, if you're hungry, eat bread. And, because bread is like inexpensive and filling. And I liked bread. And I just had an interesting relationship with food. And so I would literally just grab we had that like Wonder Bread kind of stuff. The sort of generic white sandwich bread. And I would grab like 6 or 8 slices of the stuff. And I would first eat all the crusts, and then I would mush all the insides up together into a big compact wad, a bread wad, and I would eat that like it was an apple. And that was like an everyday snack, sometimes multiple times a day. So I like me some bread. And I will just eat horrifying quantities of it if I'm not careful. Fluffy dinner roll. I would like a fluffy dinner roll. Yes, bread is super dangerous. So good though. Especially like fresh homemade bread. Oh, it's the best. I never really got into bread making, even though I have done a ton of baking. I've always enjoyed baking. I've mostly just baked dessert things. I do some biscuits as well, but yeah, I never really got into doing bread for some reason. Even in the pandemic when everybody was making bread, I was not making bread. We did do too much baking though. I was living with a couple of gals that were also very good bakers, and there was too much cake. There was way too much cake for the amount of activity that was happening. Dip your bread wad into butter with your pinky out to be fancy. That sounds good. Fondue with bread. I'm going to assume you mean the cheese kind of fondue and not the chocolate kind of fondue. But I could go either way depending on the bread. Both are fine. Hello, Ashley. Welcome. Making dinner. I suppose it is that time on the Best Coast, isn't it? I'm making pretty nails. Still for hours now. It's been 2.5 hours, y'all. It's ridiculous. Everybody wants bread now, Menma. We all want bread. Stop lurking, eat bread. Everyone's gonna end stream and go have a slice of bread. I might actually. Actually, what I might do, because I'm gonna need to eat supper sometime after streaming. I might do an English muffin with peanut butter. That's bread adjacent. Yes, hello, Budgie Smuggler. I love you too. I recognize that you want my attention. But I am busy at the moment. Can you go harass your father? She is uninterested. She wants only mom. Who knows what the hell she wants? If she's not careful, she's gonna get herself picked up again. You have potato bread, but you want dinner rolls? I fucking love potato bread. I also fucking love dinner rolls. Oh my god, why is this cable being like this? Yes, cheese version. I'm thinking though, like the right kind of bread with chocolate fondue is still gonna be good. You just want to make sure it's like a like a nice, sweet egg bread or something. But potato bread, that'd be good for your cheese fondue. Bread with onions, little mayo, that sounds good. There's not many things you can say you want to do with bread that are going to make me go, no, that doesn't sound good. It's bread. It's going to be good. I should clarify, not many things that most people would consider to be food. How about that? If the average person would consider it food, it's probably going to be good with bread. Because I know you people, and you're going to twist my words. And it's going to be horrifying. I know how you operate. Couch potato over here just doing the self-drool inducing food talk. I need some more of this. All right. We are. This thing really wants to focus on that. There we go. Having that problem again. It just loves focusing on the stamper instead of on the nails. It gets so excited about it. It's like, ooh, stamper. I want to see more of that. That's definitely what they want me to focus on. Who wouldn't love that? Yeah, like everybody's in bed here. Sanyo, hello. They look amazing. Thank you. I have learned a new technique tonight. I'm sort of adapting some jelly techniques. Some lazy gradient jelly techniques to do some wet in wet watercolor look. And it's working out pretty good, I think. You're also still doing nails, Menma? Are you... What kind of nails are you doing? Are you doing, like, collab nails by chance? Menma? Polished Mess never had a burrito? What? Couch Potato has never had a burrito. You're telling Polished Mess you've never had a burrito. Obviously, Polished Mess has had burritos. That would be fucking wild. If Polished Mess had never had a burrito, we would be having a fucking intervention. Couch Potato has an excuse. A burrito would be delicious with some bread on the side. You know what? Sure. I wouldn't be mad at it. I feel like it's a bit unnecessary. The tortilla sort of fills the role of bread. It is bread adjacent. It'd be a little bit like having bread next to your sandwich. You know, have a sandwich and then have some bread on the side. Bread nails? Oh my goodness. Oh no. Uh-oh. Y'all simply ruined so many of us. You know I'm singing bread nails to the tune of duck nails, of course. Oh, you've got a birthday party tomorrow? You decided to do Brazilian method because the nail showing annoyed you, and now you're regretting it because of the cleanup? Yeah. You're excused you live with ticks? That's not why. Those are unrelated. I'm fairly certain that Latin America has ticks, given that all of North America has ticks, to my knowledge, pretty much. I don't think that ticks and burrito knowledge are in any way related. Yes, Budgie, I see you. I feel you. I feel you poking at me. She's trying so hard to get my attention, y'all. All right. I started doing this in the wrong direction, so I'm gonna have to do my rainbow backwards. Let's start with red at the bottom here. Okay, and then the next color up is going to be the magenta. And like I have to make my brain do it in reverse because of how good I am at doing that. It's going to be working really well. This is definitely not going to end badly. I am for sure not going to fuck it up. Oh my god, you're getting too gloopy already. Quit it. What comes? Oh, it's the citrine, isn't it? That's right. That's where the weird loop around happens. And I need more jelly. The jelly gets gloopy so fast when it's out, unfortunately. Oh, jeez Louise. Jeez Louise. I need to add some thinner to this, I think. But I'm almost done and I'm being stubborn. I don't want to have to add thinner to it. Even though that would make my life so much easier. I don't wanna. Alright, and then this one is gonna be orange. Oh my god, y'all, I'm done. Sonia, you're off to bed? Alright. Thanks for stopping by. Sleep well. I will post the photos of the finished Manny in the server. What's not a one coater on you? The brownie one? I feel like most of them aren't. And like browns, for some reason, it seems like most like red and brown and similar colors sort of in that range are often a little bit more crelly-ish than pure creme. Like some are definitely very creme. But it seems like a lot of them have more of a crelly quality to them. I don't know if it's like certain pigments that just act that way or what the deal is. I don't know. I managed to get polish all over myself. I do know that. That's fun. Okay. So we're done with all the color. I just need to do Steel Glaze and then top coat. Okay. You vote making life easier? For what? Oh yeah, you don't want to do a super thick coat if it's not going to be a one coater, because then it just doesn't dry nicely. That's not fun. I'd rather do 2 thin coats than 1 thick coat. And I don't necessarily mind having to do, like, I never mind having to do 3 coats of most stuff, as long as it's not like, the only time I mind is if it's something that is like it's never gonna get opaque, and it's not supposed to be like a topper. That annoys me if I have to do too many coats of it. Like if you tell me it's a creme and I have to do 4 coats, I'm gonna be a little bit annoyed with it. 3 is fine. And with cremes, I pretty much am only using them for nail art. It's occasionally as like a base for nail art. So I don't like having to do too many coats, because then the nail art gets way too thick. But like, I feel like for cremes 2 is fine. 3 is not a deal breaker. More than that is. If you call yourself a fucking creme and you require 4 coats to be opaque, then I'm sorry, we can't be friends. Should I do these matte? The mug isn't matte. The mug is gloss. The black part is matte, but I'm not gonna separately do that. So that's gonna be too annoying. Steel Glaze is the DRK. It's their like nail art smudge free top coat. It's also good for like anything really where you don't want what's underneath to be affected by whatever you do next. So I use it on top of nail art. I also use it sometimes if I want to do something else on top of a magnetic, but I don't want the magnetized portion to be re-wetted. Then I'll sometimes use it on that. Exactly, Polished Mess. That's why cremes do not count as untrieds. They never go into my untried rack. Toppers will. Toppers will go into my untried rack. Jellies, I'll put jellies in my untried rack, but never cremes. They do not go there. They go straight into the creme drawer because they are going to be used as soon as I need that color for nail art. But I'm never just gonna wear them. The only time I've ever just worn a creme on its own is to swatch. If I've been asked to swatch, then that's fine, I'll do that. I don't have anything against them. It's just not what I go to cremes for. As a base for nail art, absolutely. As the detail parts of nail art, for sure. That's most of what I use them for. But I'll even use them sometimes as a base for like an interesting topper. The visual texture looks 3D to you. That's probably because it is a little bit 3D. But yes, also having the lighter area and the way the glaze kind of is all off to one side, it helps to emphasize that. But it is definitely a little bit 3D, partly because the jelly part got glooped on, and it's a little bit sort of thicker and squishier. Now if I use well, either way, the top coat is going to even that out to a large extent. But so, here was the inspo mug. I think we fucking nailed it, y'all. I would say that we did the thing. This might have to be one of the photos. I'm thinking the thumbnail lined up in there. Might have to do that as one of the photos. That could be fun. I'm very happy with this. This was a fun project. Definitely gonna do more mug nails. I enjoyed doing the vote thing. I did not. Of course, I have lots of other beautiful mugs that I can do. That I can do nail art of that you guys haven't seen yet or haven't seen in the context of nail art. So probably next time I feel like doing mug nails, I'll throw another vote up. I nailed it. Thank you, Ashley. Yeah, I am pleased with how these came out for sure. I like some of them better than others, but the overall effect I'm very happy with, for sure. But yeah, I know that a lot of people were interested in seeing the leaf mug, the little forest spirit mug, be done as a mani, and I actually have two of those mugs. The one that I pulled for this poll was the more spring looking one. The other one that I have is more of an autumnal one. It's an orange maple leaf. So, well, not orange, but like mottled red and orange and brown. So I feel like that one I would probably, if I was going to do that one, I would pull that one for a poll on more in the autumn. But yeah, there will be more mug manis for sure. Anyway, I'll give you one last look of Jammy Dodgers before we go. As always, if you have suggestions for future streams, if there's anything you want me to do a tutorial on or whatever, you can just holler at me either here or on Instagram, or you can holler at me in the Discord, because most of you are in at least one of the multiple Discord servers that I'm in. So yeah, everybody go to bed. If you're in Europe and you are still awake, go to sleep. If you are in North America, get ready for bed soon, unless you're on the West Coast, in which case, eat your dang supper. Bread nails? You know what? I will. I'll fucking do bread nails. But shouldn't I do bread nails like on the short hand? I could do like little sandwiches or something. I don't know. Bread nails sounds good. Yes, Mom. All right. Thanks for coming, everybody.